A beloved football star, a charming husband, and inspiration, he was the perfect icon of the American dream, until it all came crashing down. It was supposed to be the trial of the century, a beloved football star accused of the brutal double murder. But how did this all-American hero fall so far, so fast? What made Orenthal James Simpson go from living the American dream to being at the center of one of the most controversial trials in history? This is the story of how fame, money, and the criminal justice system can all come crashing down in the blink of an eye.
Orenthal James Simpson was born in 1947 in the Potrero Hill housing projects of San Francisco, California.
He didn't have an easy childhood. His father was an alcoholic who was sometimes violent towards the family. Growing up, O.J. faced a lot of challenges and hardship, but he found an escape through football. From a young age, O.J. showed incredible talent and athleticism on the football field. His skills earned him a scholarship to the nearby University of Southern California, where he became a college football superstar. In 1968, O.J. capped off his collegiate career by winning the prestigious Heisman Trophy as the best player in the country. He was seen as the embodiment of the American dream, a young black man overcoming adversity to achieve greatness. After his standout career at USC, O.J. was selected as the first overall pick in the 1969 NFL Draft by the Buffalo Bills. He went on to have an incredibly successful 11-year professional football career, rushing for over 11,000 yards, the second highest total in NFL history at the time. O.J. was elected to the Pro Football Hall of Fame in 1985, cementing his status as one of the greatest running backs to ever play the game. Off the field, O.J. cultivated a charismatic public persona, appearing in numerous films and TV shows. He transitioned into a successful broadcasting career as well, becoming a popular commentator on ABC's Monday Night Football. O.J. Simpson had truly achieved the American dream, fame, fortune, and the adoration of fans across the country. He was seen as the ultimate embodiment of black athletic excellence, a role model for aspiring young athletes. However, O.J.'s charmed life took a shocking turn on the night of June 12, 1994. His ex-wife, Nicole Brown Simpson, and her friend Ronald Goldman were found brutally stabbed to death outside Nicole's home in the Brentwood area of Los Angeles. Evidence quickly began to mount against O.J., including a trail of blood leading from the crime scene back to his house. O.J. was arrested and put on trial for the double murder. The trial of the century gripped the nation as it unfolded live on television. Prosecutors painted a picture of a jealous ex-husband who had violently lashed out against his former wife. They presented DNA evidence, bloody gloves, and a history of domestic abuse as proof of O.J.'s guilt. O.J.'s high-powered legal team, dubbed the Dream Team, mounted an aggressive defense against the charges. Led by Johnny Cochran, the Dream Team argued that the evidence was mishandled by the Los Angeles Police Department and that O.J. was the victim of a racist frame job. The trial was a media spectacle, with cameras capturing every moment and feeding a 24/7 news cycle. Testimony from both sides called into question the police investigation, with the defense suggesting there were other potential suspects. The proceedings highlighted the deep racial divisions in America, with many African Americans seeing the case as a referendum on police mistreatment of black citizens. White Americans, on the other hand, were more likely to believe in O.J.'s guilt. They were outraged by what they saw as a dream team of high-priced lawyers using technicalities to get a guilty man off the hook. After a lengthy trial that lasted nearly a year, the jury delivered a shocking verdict. They found O.J. Simpson not guilty of the murders. Many were outraged by the decision, feeling that the evidence clearly pointed to O.J.'s guilt. The aftermath of the trial deeply divided the country along racial lines, with African Americans celebrating the verdict as a victory against a racist justice system, while white Americans felt the jury had failed to deliver justice.
You were sort of obsessed with her having that relationship with Keith, right?
No.
Didn't bother you at all?
Her, with Keith, with Marcus, with any of them didn't bother me at all.
Not at all.
No.
He's lived a life of fraud and being a fake.
Despite being acquitted, O.J.'s life continued to spiral downward in the years that followed. He was later found liable for the deaths of Nicole and Ronald in a civil trial and ordered to pay $33.5 million in damages. In 2006, publisher Reagan Books planned to release O.J. Simpson's book, If I Did It, which was supposed to be his account of how he would hypothetically kill Nicole Brown and Ronald Goldman. The book was canceled due to public outcry. Later, the Goldman family obtained the rights, renamed it If I Did It, Confessions of the Killer, and published it, reducing the word if to make it appear as I did it.
In 2007, O.J. Simpson was arrested for armed robbery after he and a group of men stormed a hotel room and took sports memorabilia at gunpoint. Simpson claimed the items were stolen from him, but he was charged with multiple felonies, including kidnapping and assault. After his co-defendants plea bargained, Simpson was held over for trial. In 2008, he was convicted on all charges and sentenced to 33 years in prison. O.J. Simpson's 2007 arrest and conviction came over a decade after his highly publicized 1995 murder trial, in which he was acquitted of the killings of his ex-wife Nicole Brown Simpson and her friend Ronald Goldman. The armed robbery case further tarnished Simpson's legacy, cementing his status as a controversial and polarizing figure. Despite the different legal outcomes, both the murder trial and the robbery case highlighted the complexities of the criminal justice system and the lasting impact of Simpson's actions on his life and reputation. O.J. Simpson was granted parole in 2013 on some convictions, but remained imprisoned. In 2017, he was granted parole and released after serving nearly 9 years. In 2021, he was discharged early from parole for good behavior.
Despite the scandal and infamy that followed him for the rest of his life, O.J. Simpson managed to continue living in relative obscurity for the next 2 decades after his acquittal. However, in May 2023, the once legendary athlete revealed that he had been diagnosed with cancer and had started undergoing chemotherapy. Many were surprised that Simpson would be so open about his health struggles, given the intense scrutiny he had faced for so long. But in a statement, O.J. expressed confidence that he would beat the disease, just as he had overcome the murder charges decades earlier. Unfortunately, O.J.'s battle with cancer took a turn for the worse in early 2024. In February of that year, it was reported that the cancer had progressed to his prostate. In the final days before his death, all of Simpson's children visited him, as his condition continued to deteriorate. On April 10, 2024, at the age of 76, O.J. Simpson passed away from the disease. His death was met with mixed reactions from the public. Some expressed sympathy, while others felt that his complicated legal history would forever overshadow his athletic achievements. The Goldman family, whose son Ron was murdered alongside Nicole Brown Simpson, issued a statement saying that the hope for true accountability has ended. Sports analyst Stephen A. Smith echoed the sentiment, saying, "One of the greatest athletes we have ever seen, but it all pales in comparison to him being perceived as a double murderer." It was announced that O.J.'s body would be cremated in Las Vegas, where he had been residing in his final years. The O.J. Simpson case exposed deep-seated racial divisions in American society and the flaws within the criminal justice system. It remains a polarizing and complex issue, with opinions still sharply divided on whether justice was truly served. The rise and fall of O.J. Simpson is a cautionary tale about the fragility of fame and the consequences of violence and the abuse of power. How did this revered sports hero fall so far, so fast? It's a question that still captivates people to this day. On the surface, the O.J. Simpson story seems like a classic tale of American success. A young man from humble beginnings who overcomes adversity to achieve greatness. But beneath the surface lies a much darker story, one of domestic abuse, racial injustice, and the corrupting influence of wealth and celebrity. If you enjoyed this video, then make sure to check out another star of the past, Marilyn Monroe.